I don't know if you can tell us, but what secrets do you have about the Masters? So, for instance...
He knows. There's some. There's
so many, I bet.
I think the only secrets I can reveal is...
Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is episode number 66 of No Putts Given. We've got a very special guest today. In addition to Harry, Tony, and Chris, we have Sir Nick Faldo joining us. I'll be honest, I've interviewed a lot of athletes, a lot of personalities. None of them have been knighted. So if you could advise me what the correct way to address you is Sir Nick. Does Sir Nick work?
Sir Nick is 100% correct. I don't like when I arrive at hotels and they say Sir Faldo. So it's Sir Nick. It's as easy
when that happens.
It's as easy as that. Sir Nick. Yeah.
Okay, great. That makes it easy for me. So, Sir Nick, where are you joining us from today? I know you had a busy weekend.
Yeah, I'm in Ponte Vedra. So I obviously was a Masters all week. Drove down here Sunday night. Gonna get a few days off at the beach to kind of chill and do all these Zooms, get up to speed with all my couple of meetings and things, and then that's about it. Then hopefully I will disappear, find a lonely peak, a blunt one, and go and sit on it in Montana.
I don't blame you. Well, we're excited to have you, and we thought we'd just throw you into the fire, put you on the panel, and head into our first topic. Does that work?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay, so our first topic today, we're heading into the off season, and it's been a strange season, especially with the Masters being at the end of it this year, but we talk equipment at MyGolfSpy, so we're wondering, when is the best time of year to consider buying new equipment or even updating the current equipment that you're using with going into the off season in mind? Chris, why don't you take on this one first? When's the best time of year to think about new equipment?
Yeah, I mean, I think two things here. And, one of them is if you find something that performs better for you and your game, there's probably never a bad time to make a switch. But I think now is a great time if you're actually thinking about getting fit for equipment or kind of going into that next phase. You're probably toward the end of your season. And if you've been making swing changes, et cetera, kind of throughout the year, whatever you're kind of been doing, this is probably your kind of most authentic golfing self. And a great time to get fit is kind of right now toward the end of the season. And, that's kind of our perspective. I'd love to hear from Sir Nick too on, just in terms of what does that look like, for tour players? There really isn't the same type of off season anymore today, however, compared to, previous generations. Is this kind of the time when people would go through and really begin a very arduous testing process where, probably looked a little bit different than it does today?
Yeah, I bet a lot of them, to be honest, they just want to switch their mind off. At the end of the season, you have a break and you kind of look at where you're going to play. Maybe you got 6 weeks off or something. I remember I used to take a full month off and then you're waiting for that bit of motivation. And I used to then get 4 lovely sets of Mizunos used to arrive in a fancy box, and I'd start looking at them. That'd get me really inspired, and off I go. But now what you've got to do is get yourself a decent pair of shoes. Haven't you? Got to get yourself a pair of squares.
That didn't take long.
I was gonna say, didn't even give me a chance to ask about them.
You've got to learn to get more balance and stability in your swing. Well, you don't have to learn. You don't have to do anything. It's the beauty of these new shoes. You just put them on, and it will take care of all of that, and give you a little bit more of everything in your swing.
So screw lessons. I'm not working out. I'm going to keep eating my ice cream. New pair of shoes. I'm good to go.
Absolutely. You put a decent pair of squares on, right? And then your instructor will help you and you'll fall into positions,
Harry, you're heading into a pro off season. Are you taking in this advice? Does that sound good? Put on some squares and it'll just take care of everything?
Yeah.
Well, I test all of these shoes. I test bags. I test everything when it comes to golf equipment, and I eliminate variables. So if shoes can help me be in better positions, then yeah, I'm all for it. In the off season, I'm actually working in the gym quite regularly to try and build up some more flexibility and some muscle to try and get me some better ball speeds as well. So off season for me is a very important time. Plus, when it comes to if I need to fix something in my game, I got time to fix it. And then all this equipment's coming out. So I'm thinking, all right, can I help fix my game with some new equipment? Whether it be shoes, squares, if it was shoes, or, a new driver that can gain me an extra 2 or 3 miles an hour. Whatever it is, I'm always on the lookout throughout the whole year for that kind of game. But on the off season, I am predominantly looking at trying to get myself better and fitter, and therefore, hopefully it translates into my swing.
Do you know how to train to get more clubhead speed?
Yeah, we've got a couple
what do you mean? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me how.
We've got some. I've got a trainer who helps me with mobility.
I've got a trainer who helps me. Come on, well, what is he going to help you with?
He's going to help me with my my core and using my legs and the ground properly. Plus, super speed is obviously a great device to help you generate more clubhead speed if you do the off-season training. There's quite a few options out there.
So the interesting thing now, you've got to retrain your mind and your nerves. That's where it's got to start.
That's
interesting,
true,
isn't it? I chatted to all the guys. I thought it was fascinating. Rory, Phil, Bryson, my trainers. And it's the interesting bit. You've got to retrain the mind that you can move quicker. So that's, you think, well, so I've actually been doing it. I've been starting to make my body move forward. Then you got to work on your stability, which is all your core stuff, what have you. Then they're doing all this explosion stuff, right, before they even get to the swinging faster stuff, because they say if you just go like everybody, just grab your speed sticks and just go whoosh, 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 you'll tear something up here because you're not ready for it. So there's some really cool science now. You can only move as fast as the body can de-accelerate. You can only accelerate as fast as the body can de-accelerate, which is another interesting. I can't work that one out. Here's a good line. You cannot shoot a cannon from a canoe. Think about that one.
I am thinking about it.
It's going to hurt the canoe, and it sounds like a euphemism. Yeah.
Exactly. If a canoe goes that way, the cannonball. It's a great visual. Well, I thought, I like that. So bottom line, this is what we now know. So I'm embarking on the same thing. I want to try and get some speed. So I've started working on, I think I can spin, I can now move faster. So that's my first lesson. Move my body faster. I could believe. So it's quite funny. It's a good science now. I love it. So I'm going to give it a go as well.
That'd be interesting. I wonder how much the mind can influence that, purely because you have fast twitch fibers and slow twitch fibers when it comes to the muscles. So where is the diminishing returns when it comes to, all right, your mind can do so much, but then your muscles can only do so much. So I wonder where the connection is there.
Yeah. Well, they know. Yeah, maybe your trainer knows more than I do, so you can ask him those questions.
Somewhere between the canoe and the water, I'd wager.
Yeah,
somewhere in between.
Tell him about your cannon and your canoe. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Tony, what do you think? I know you tinker with your equipment all the time. Do you wait for an off season, or are you now completely rethinking everything and just training your mind?
Yeah, it's kind of with what we do and equipment cycles working the way they are, right? I have like this window from July to maybe the end of September where, like, all right, there's nothing new coming out, so this is what I have. It's the only thing to pull from. Nothing new and exciting coming. By this time of year, things start coming out fast. We get new equipment all the time. So off season for me is just playing with new toys, not making any concrete decisions whatsoever.
What a life.
Rolling into the next year with equipment that's completely untested that I have no idea how it is actually going to perform on the golf course. And that's why my handicap tends to spike in the spring. And by fall, I get it back down to something that's, at least I can talk about a little. But yeah.
So Nick, how do most players on the tour do it? What's their approach to new equipment or adjusting or tweaking what they're currently playing with? Yeah,
well, they get thrown at it a lot. I'm sure some like that, some probably don't like that. Obviously the manufacturers are pushing another brand new driver. They want it in the bag. The guy might say, hey, but I really trust this one. I know, it's feedback. You get a millisecond of feedback when you strike a golf ball. And if you like it, I wouldn't like to go tinkering with it. Generally they play with the same shaft. Once you found a golf shaft, that kind of fits your golfing DNA. But obviously it's a huge groove thing, isn't it? Back in our day, you look at our wedges, they were concave. So we love the wedge. In fact, if you were smart, you had a practice set of wedges, and then you had a playing set of wedges that you absolutely loved. Yeah, they get thrown a lot of stuff. So I'm sure some guys exactly that. Some guys love it, and some guys say, I'd rather this is working. I don't want to change anything right now. So everybody's different.
So is our collective conclusion that it's player by player? There's not necessarily the best type of year or time of year to adjust in order to come back in the spring ready to go?
Well, everything rolls in. I think this year the players will feel like they've had a season. We had a double season with the COVID season, and then now obviously late Masters. So I think a lot of them will be seriously resting right now. Why? Some will travel actually can't travel the world. Australia and what they used to do, you can't. So I think by what we're going through, it probably be a good thing. Guys are going to rest, and you'll see a lot of them raring to go. Start of the season, you'll get good fields. Hey, we're off and running. It's funny. That's like 2 months. Normally, when I finish TV, it's like 5 months, which is a heck of a long time. But actually, 2 months thinking about it. By the time we've gone through Christmas, that's it. I've actually been on a call this morning with CBS to already thinking about next season. So we're already up and running and raring to go. Amazing.
Harry, that's kind of the same thing that happened in the test facility too, right? You're finishing up the last most wanted test and already looking at the driver test for next year.
Yeah. We very, very rarely get an off season here at MyGolfSpy. As soon as we finish one test, we're hitting 15,000 plus shots per test. So it's taken us a month and a half, maybe 2 months to complete a test. So we're always finishing in and around this time. And then as soon as we're done, we got maybe 3 weeks of a breather, and then driver testing for 2021 comes in and we'll start all over again.
All right. Well, I think it's about time we play a round of Ask Sir Nick Faldo. Guys, did you bring your questions for Sir Nick to take on and see if he can answer?
I got a book full.
I did.
Right.
Tony, why don't you kick us off? What questions do you have for Sir Nick?
Well, I'm curious, Sir Nick. Your career has kind of spanned the what is I would say probably the greatest period of innovation on the equipment side in golf. So, what would you say? Not necessarily, maybe it is two answers, but not necessarily the most innovative piece of equipment. But for you, what was kind of the most surprising, the one that kind of caught you and it was like, hey, and you can't say squares. All right, let's other than squares shoes, like what has been sort of the most surprising advancement?
Other than what's on your feet while I was standing making this decision, the greatest invention was the widget that we can change the shafts with it. Because that used to be a day long, actually used to be a 24-hour process in the old days. I used to drive down to Barry Willett, which was a 2.5-hour drive, and then sit with him and watch him ream out your persimmon. And then they'd sit and look at it, and you've got a bit of a crack. We're not sure whether we want to shaft it. He said, that looked great. And he said, we'll let the glue dry. Then they pinned it and they whipped it. Then you went out and hit it and you didn't like it. And he went, now what do I do? And it's like, well, I could risk doing it again, might crack it. And you go, well, okay, I'll find a way to make this driver work. And it's amazing what we used to do. So that is the greatest invention, the fact we can change a shaft in 10 seconds. You go nuts, I love it. You try 100 shafts a day if you were that mad. Well, actually, other great science is you can go on a swing monitor, and it will guide you what shaft you really need. That's another great thing, isn't it? That Mizuno thing that they had, you hit 3 or 4 shots and it comes up with 3 shafts suggestions, and then they've got them right there and you hit them, and then whoever your launch monitor is tracking says you're hitting this iron 6 yards further, and you've got that result in 5 minutes. That's unbelievable. So you go, build me a set of these, please. Thank you very much. Testing done.
Minutes instead of days.
Absolutely. Well, and there was and it was just your own personal feedback. Now they get factual feedback instantly. One ball will give you your swing feedback, will give you all your launch conditions you want. That's where the science of this game has really, really changed, unbelievably.
So what about the other thing I want to ask about is, again, kind of seeing the progression of the game and now in the context of the distance debate and the idea that we need to maybe roll back a golf ball. Looking at it from another angle, how have course conditions evolved and changed from when you started playing on the PGA Tour to now?
It was damn rough, old chap. No,
uphill both ways.
Look at the agronomy, the agronomists. The knowledge they have now. They play on green carpets just about every week. Greens are perfect. That's another part of the game. That's unbelievable how it's changed. To think what we used to play. There used to be really rough fairways. The greens were rough, and you dealt with it. But obviously, we came from poorer lies into bumpy greens. So, hey, who knows how the scores, the comparisons over the years. But it's so nice, of course, to play now when the golf course is gorgeous.
So let's take the Tour pros out to a beat up Muni and see what happens.
Yeah, give them a few rock hard lies when it's really hard pan and everything, and they thin a few wedge shots, or really sandy, wet conditions, and you hit it and the thing just explodes. Yeah, so yeah, they're playing it off perfect lies. Gosh, 99% of the time. So that breeds confidence.
Good questions, Tony. I like those. Chris, how about you? What you got?
Well, first of all, Tony, great questions. Love it. Fantastic. Fantastic work there. Sir Nick, 2 questions for you today. First question is, what's the best time for me to show up at Augusta for a tee time with you? Like what? Just kind of walk me through the calendar of the year. What's the best time to do that?
Where should we pencil that in?
Yeah, because my schedule's pretty open. I know yours probably gets a little busier, but
yeah. Well, even though I'm a 3-time champion, if I wish to play there, I still have to play with a member. So Peyton Manning would be
really?
Yes, Peyton Manning would be a good member for me to play with. But the odds on you finding a member to play, slim to none. So
I'm gonna write this down.
Miranda, we need
Peyton Manning.
Get Peyton in. We'll talk about pizza and tea times.
Let me break out my old football contacts and see if I can get that going for you.
That's still the most highly sought after ticket to get onto Augusta National. Yeah.
Well, I am in Colorado. I'm a huge Denver Broncos fan. So,
there you go.
Who knows? Peyton, if you're watching, I know you're not, but throw it out there. No,
what's it worth? I got his number in my phone.
That's worth a lot of money.
I'll wear square shoes when I go play with you and Peyton at Augusta. I will wear square shoes. But no, real question. Obviously, as you've transitioned to a broadcast career, from the course and seeing kind of the evolution and change of broadcasting. One thing that we hear is a lot of criticism, right, around golf telecasts are inherently boring. My wife loves to sleep. She says, "Hey, honey, is golf on this afternoon? Great. Why?
Great. Knock me out."
Yeah, exactly. So from your perspective, as you've seen this evolution, we've lost some people that I found very entertaining. Gary McCord, to name one, people that I liked to listen to. What's your take on how can we make this more engaging for not just the population now, but if we really want to reach a new target audience and have golf be able, it's not going to compete against football, U.S. football, but how can we make it more engaging, exciting? I know when we brought Phil into the booth a little bit, there was some kind of awkward dynamics with you guys in there a little bit, but it was engaging from a listener perspective, from a watcher perspective. I was like, that was really fun. It made me think, and I got involved with the telecast. What do we need to do to spur on kind of more of those type of ideas?
Yeah, well, it's funny. That's what I say to Jim every time he starts. I'll just have a half an hour nap. Just wake me up when you run out of ideas, because he never does. Hey, TV, live TV. Yes, there's a lot of criticism. People don't understand golf is a really different. Any other sport, you're following one ball or one athlete. We're following 18 holes. There could be 54 situations out there. Really could, tee shots, fairway shots, putting for producers to choose and what have you. And while you're showing one live shot, of course, the other shot's got to go on tape, so people don't get that. We've got some new ideas. We started talking about it already. So I can't give away any secrets, obviously, because I don't even know them. Luckily, I don't know them.
Sir Nick, nobody watches this anyway, so it's fine. It's just us here.
So it's funny. That's what I say every day when I'm talking. Nobody's watching. So, I think, yes, the word is innovation. Everybody's looking for more innovation. We have got stuff up our sleeves, even though I'm wearing short sleeves. So I promise you, yes, there'll be new stuff coming very soon. And it will be good. It will be good stuff for golf.
Is one of those putting Charles Barkley back in the players' ears and letting them interact with him? Because that was fun.
Charles
Yeah,
Barkley.
but you forget that was an exhibition match. Of course, that was fun. The people who compared that, oh, this is how you do golf, know nothing about television, Zippo, because that was live. The booth could talk to, hey, great, if I could talk to the player. Hey, Phil, how are you going to hit this bunker shot when you're leading by one? Don't start choking now. Oh yeah, they'd love that, wouldn't they? Oh yeah. But that's not that.
That's fair.
That was a completely different animal, and they were whatever. Golf, tournament golf. It's a completely different animal. I can promise you. Yeah, we've got some really cool stuff, and we're all in it. As I said, we're only on 2 months to go, so we're already energized for next season.
Harry, what about you? What questions do you have for Sir Nick?
Well, my first question is, can you knight me? That's the more burning question. If you can knight me.
Is it transferable?
Is it
the
transferable?
transitive property of knighthood?
Do you get like a +1 that you could knight me and I could be Sir Harry George Nodwell?
I can definitely put forward recommendations for Her Majesty's consideration.
That's bloody lovely. I would like that. Yes.
But I need to see your British passport, mate. So
Okay, I definitely got
somewhere.
that. I've definitely got that. But no, serious. I don't know if you can tell us, but what secrets do you have about the Masters? So, for instance, this is a rumor.
Oh, he knows. There's some.
There's
so
a rumor.
many, I bet.
Of course there are.
What can I
So
say?
here's the rumor that the trees on 13 on the left can be pinned back at any time and released at any time, depending on what day they want to do. So
got a control button, yeah.
Yeah. So apparently they have wires and they can pin them back, all that jazz. So what secrets can you reveal?
I think the only secrets I can reveal is how much cheese is in the pimento cheese, and where the eggs come from for the egg sandwiches. That's the only secrets I know. Sorry about that.
That's no fun. All right. Well, I got a follow-up question just in case you just did exactly that. So do you think there's an issue with the distance? This is all on everyone's mind. So do you think it's the golf equipment side, or do you think it's golfers are getting smarter? They're starting to go in the gym. They're starting to use decade golf, which is a probability where you hit it in correct places, which gives you the best chance to get up and down when you relate it to your personal clubs. So what do you think it is?
I love the way you said started going in the gym. They've been going in the gym.
Tiger Woods.
Gary will take claim to that, lifting weights in 1964. But, Tiger came on and went stronger, and it's been a long time. And then I'm not sure who's next, whether it's Rory. As you know, Dustin, Jason Day all brought a whole new spectrum to it. Where are we now? Because then we're now at Bryson. Went through Brooks, Bryson. So, hey, it's a science. It's an unbelievable science. When I started, it was like, well, don't lift weights. You're going to damage your swing and everything, and swing slowly and get stronger. So, I actually swung in the evenings with a pickaxe. So guess what it was developing? I've done that thousands and tens of thousands of times. And I swung all tempo and smooth and everything. You get programmed that, you only play 80% of your power. You remember all these lines that we all learned, isn't it? Tempo is king. Yeah. And now here we are, they take the science. So if you actually want to hit it, so real bottom line is they can train you, which is what Bryson, they can train you to be the power of Carl Berkshire and pound it out there and still have touch, still with a chip and putt. Yeah. So this is what we've developed real athletes. So it doesn't have to be Bryson's strength, because there's plenty of Dylan Fratelli. He found 6 miles an hour more club. Very impressive. Phil Phil finds 6 miles an hour more club head speed, in his late 40s. That is probably the most impressive.
Helped him with that.
That's the most impressive one. And I talked to Phil, and as I described that whole process, it's not one simple exercise. That's a real process of a couple of months of really training. But they understand the process, so the how to do it. So these guys you give them a ugly set of sticks, and they will hit it further than they did before. So then we had a great example with Bernard Langer last week. So if you roll back the golf ball, Bernard wouldn't play. He would not tee it up if you rolled the golf ball back 20%.
Well, he averaged 250 off the tee.
250. Yeah, Bryson's 350.
Yeah.
And he played. So
and he beat him.
I commented on that on Friday. I said that, and it was correct. He said, I wouldn't play. I wouldn't be able to play. He's already hitting 3-wood into the hole, so he'd be done. It's strike. Bring back the quality of the strike. Make the strike a little bit more difficult. Actually, for pros, a lot more difficult to achieve. Because back in my day, there were only a handful of really great strikers with the driver. Greg was a great driver with Persimmon, and obviously Jack was, and Watson and Seve. It was the strike that won. If you mishit a Persimmon, you lost anything between 15 and 25 yards, and it went in the left rough, right rough. Now, I was with Rory. He's got his launch monitor. He necks one. It's 2 yards difference. So what? Seriously, 2 yards. Doesn't make any difference. So that's the biggest thing. If we can, and they're looking at that, what to do with the head. I think, the trampoline effect has got to end. I started this kind of half tongue-in-cheek. If they had no tee pegs, if you placed it on the tee and then you could still hit a driver off the deck 320 down the middle, good on you, because there've been an awful lot of guys who would be smothering it, wouldn't be able to do that. So you get an advantage because your skill and your strike. That's where I think I want them to go, to make the equipment less forgiving for pros, so it brings back, the strike. And so the strike under nerve, under pressure, will get magnified.
Funny you say that. We're actually starting a test here with a longer tee compared to a really short stumpy tee where the ball's just off. And and we're seeing shorter distance, spin rates have increased. Yeah. This is just the short lab, so it's shorter. But you have to, the strike is, you have to get that strike perfect for it to go anywhere. So that theory is not too bad at all. Yeah.
No, if they made a guarantee, if we just did it for fun on one tournament, and said, okay, it's an official tee peg that's 7/8 of an inch thick. So by the time you've teed it up, you've only got it the thickness of your fingers above the ground. That's about the best you could do. And then, sure, the guys wouldn't be able to use the same driver if they would, they said, this is getting tough to use this thing.
Yeah, 12-degree driver.
Yeah, I go to 12, or can you give me a driver a little bit more shallow, this sort of thing?
Like a 3-wood?
Does a 2-wood really work? Yeah, I want a bit more penetration than a 2-wood. All of that would be a start. And I think, because the fact, these guys can peg it up 3 inches off the ground and hang back and wallop it, wouldn't be able to do that. That's a very simple, my goodness, that's not going to cost $10 to make that happen
that's interesting.
Come up with shorter tee pegs.
I mean, Bryson's angle of attack, I think, is either +6 or +8. So he's hitting up with upwards of, low as 16 to 1900 spin. So it's just going and it just keeps going. So if you...
Oh, I know. I was there.
Yeah. Well, that's true. You know what? You got me on that one.
It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You probably saw me tweeting last week. He's got 4-degree driver.
Yeah, it's a putter. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, his putter's got 6. So so he's got a 4-degree driver, gets it on the up. It's coming out at 14 to 15 degrees. As you said, the spin he's trying to get 1900. The bad one was he wanted 22s, to avoid the 3000s. And the bloody thing going 368 through the air.
Yeah.
Well, he nearly had you running around butt naked if you had followed. If you would have had to follow.
I was safe as houses at that one.
Yeah, that was probably a little bit of relief when you saw the wetter conditions, huh?
Yeah, I was fine. So I went to see him and I said, I'm going to talk you into hitting 3 wood at the first. I think that's the play. And then how about this for a line? He says, when it's dry and firm, it's definitely doable. And I'm like, oh, holy smokes, watch that. But it's so accurate. And he said, do you know what? If I do it, I'll run around naked too. So there you go. There's a vision. But I was going to play my trump card, and being a knight, I will do it at night.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for the hot seat. What do you guys think?
Let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. My turn to ask the questions on this one. So, Sir Nick, the way that it goes is I'm going to present you with a situation, and you have to pick one or the other. No context. That's why it's the hot seat.
Do I win a prize?
Yes. You win a free pair
of square shoes.
I've got all the colors and more on the way. All right.
So we'll start. Masters or the Open?
Well, I'm British, so of course I'm going to lean to the Open. That was the one I stood on the putting green and go, this to win the Open, this to win the Open. So, the Open's my number one.
All right. And I think we had a debate on No Putts Given not too long ago as to whether it is called the Open or the British Open.
It's the Open. It's the Open.
Okay.
It started off as the British Open, then it went to the Open Championship. Now it's the Open. And about 5 years' time, it'll just be called the.
It probably would be.
All right, Harry, we'll put you in the hot seat on this one now. Masters or the Open? I have a feeling your answer is going to be similar.
Yeah, it's the Open, for sure.
Okay. Tony, Masters or the Open?
Oh, man, I love watching the Open on television just because the courses are so unique. But, if I'm out on the putting green as a kid or as a grown-up even pretending it's to win a tournament, it is for the Masters.
Okay, Masters or the Open, man.
Masters,
you do this every time.
I know.
Okay.
Masters.
There we go.
Yeah, 2
Chris?
to 1.
Here we go. Masters or the Open?
The Masters.
Ooh, we're tied.
Yeah, I mean, in your life.
All right, do we need to bring back the Ryder Cup just because this is
hold on.
America versus England right now?
Don't get ahead of me here. Okay, Sir Nick, I'm coming straight to you on this one. No context. Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods?
Jack.
Okay, you answered that quicker than I thought you were going to. Chris, how about you? Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods?
L.T. Gray.
Was that a tea? I drink El Grey as well. Yeah.
Harry, how about you? Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods?
I'm gonna go Tiger Woods purely because he's in my era. I grew up watching him.
All right, Tony, how about you?
Yeah, I didn't pick up a golf club until I was at least 30, so Tiger's all I know.
All right, I like that one too. Split us again. Okay, we touched on this a little bit earlier. Chris, let's go to you first. Roll back the ball or don't roll back the ball?
Do not touch the golf ball. No rollback.
Dun, 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 dun.
Harry, what do you think? Roll back, no roll
Yeah,
back?
no rollback. No rollback. No.
Sir Nick, what do you think? Roll back, no roll back?
I think it's going to get a tiny bit of tweaking, but yeah, I think the Langer was a great example. Bring back the strike. That's what I say. Precision of the strike.
Okay. I like that angle on it. We've talked about this in so many ways, and I think that's one way that we haven't really approached the distance problem yet.
The mastery. Bring back the mastery of the strike. That would be even more important. Yeah.
Tony, what do you think? Roll back the ball or don't roll back the ball? You're a ball expert. What do you think?
Well, the mastery, I will never master the strike, so yeah, I need the golf ball. Give me the ball. Don't touch my golf ball.
Okay. All right. So we're pretty clear on that one too. Okay. This last one should be a little bit of fun. Tony, we'll start with you this time. Who wins the 2021 Ryder Cup?
It's my turn. USA.
Okay. Chris, what do you think? Who takes it?
Back on home soil after the embarrassing defeat in France. I think the U.S. wins it. Just barely, though. I think it's going to be really, really close.
Or Nick, what do you think? You going with the home team, or are you going to agree with Chris?
It's going to be tight right now. Gosh, well, I have to support Europe. I'm European, so I think we can still. It's getting tighter. It'll be tough. Whistling Straits. But I'm pulling for Europe.
All right, Harry, are you in the same boat?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and Nick we've talked, and we're going to take back Yorktown slowly, just by the two of us. So definitely Europe when it comes to the Ryder Cup.
All right, I like that. That was a good hot seat.
Okay.
What do we think?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir Nick, before we let you go today, I want to talk a little bit about the Faldo Formula. And for our listeners and our viewers that don't know about it or probably not as aware of it, can you give us a brief introduction to the Faldo Formula?
Yeah, I wanted to, my instructional books have done well. And it's really great. Chris Comer was an arranger. I love Faldo Formula. And all those books and videos are 20, 25 years old now. So I wanted to update it, and obviously all the things, and bring in the body and the mind as well. So it's a whole new ball game, and I know that even the club golfer can use it. The good thing is we're in a time, I had my institutes in Orlando, and I said, hey, what about giving them some stretching? And they said, no, they just want a coffee and a donut before they warm up. That was it. So, but as you know, now in life, we are all into this. We think, wow, if I do a little bit of this, if I eat a little better, think a little better, move around a little better, it will make difference in my life as well as my golf swing. So we put all of that together. I incorporate some fun visits whenever I can get a chance to bump into some interesting people. I went down to Necker Island. Sir Richard Branson did the tennis thing and all sorts of things. So I'm just trying to bring a lot more information and fun to instruction. At the same thing, bring people up to speed. And again, do it for us. It's generally, let's just say from 50 and up. I'm 63 now, so it's that's our target, really, from when your square shoes are pointing at the sky rather than the ground. So, hey, it's been fun. We've done the first season, and then obviously with CBS, they put it out on CBS Sports, the digital channel. It's been out. I've done 16 episodes. I've got tons of content for next year.
So if a guy like Tony, who says he needs all the help he can get, don't roll back the ball, if he came to the Faldo Formula, what does he take away from it?
I've got a lot of good stuff. I believe I've got a good eye for instruction. You're not looking for 101 things to change. If I can get it down to 98 or 99, you're pretty darn good. I really helped you. My goal is to give you a couple of things. Oh, I like that. That works for me. That's all I'm trying to do. Just give you something where you enjoy your golf, get a bit more positive out of it.
Is it an effort to help grow the game? We talk about that a lot on No Putts Given, about how growing the game.
Yeah, that's my Faldo series, which is great. We've done 25 years of the Faldo series now, and we're going to have some amazingly huge announcements coming up for next year. Growing the game of golf right from people who it's their first ever putt. Even more fun, the grassroots, what we're working on actually will be competitive. We would actually be able to create a competitive grassroots. The kids who are just starting will better go and do something. We'll make them feel like champions. It's going to be really cool.
That does sound really cool. Remind us where we can find it.
All my stuff. Well, yes, FaldoFormula.com. That's me. Go on that. All my lessons are in there. My shows get put on, a couple of weeks after they aired. And then we're going to have merchandise. We're working on that as well. We're going to have top of the list is the limited edition squares to commemorate my 30th anniversary of winning the Masters. It's going to be scented boxes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to have, I just thought of that. We're going to have white dog. I need to do my own perfumes. I'm going to do white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, smells like wet cashmere.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, last thing I want to do today. Sir Nick, to explain a little bit, we used to let Harry, our resident British dude, introduce us to a British phrase of the week, and we've gotten away from it in the past couple of shows, but we thought having you on, you could try to stump us with a new British phrase.
New British phrase. I've got a good one for you. When they say, cool, it's chuffing Nora.
Say it again.
Chuffing Nora?
Chuffing Nora.
Nora.
Effing Nora?
If you watch the Full Monty, it said chuffing Nora, that. Which usually means it's great. And chuffing Nora, I guess, is even better. Or what's the other one we got? You could throw a spanner in the works. If you throw a spanner in the works, that upsets things. So that's
like a wrench.
Oh, like a
like you throw a wrench in
it.
Yeah,
a wrench. We call them spanners. We don't have a wrench. We have a spanner, sack of spanners. So when you play badly, you got a sack of spanners. Or we've got. So as we've been doing, we've been having a chin wag, haven't we?
Yeah, we have been having chin wag.
We've been chatting.
Chat, very good.
Like your chin bouncing about.
Yeah. Very literal.
Yeah.
So Nick, don't you have a Cockney rhyme and slang?
I've written. I did it on TV years ago. I wrote it. So it goes. Let's have a butcher's hook, which is a look. Ian Porter's Highland fling swing starts from his daisy boots, swings his chalk farms as his arms, pulls it down with his German bands, his hands, and wraps it round his Gregory Peck, his neck. There you go. There's the golf swing a la Cockney. So.
Well, we have certainly appreciated having you here. You've definitely added a little bit of spark to No Putts Given today. So thank you so much for wagging your chins with us.
Chin wagging.
Chin wagging. And having a chin wag, love.
Yeah.
Thank you for having a chin wag with us.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the distance problem today. So check out this video if you want to hear a couple more of our opinions on it. Until next time, we out.
Everybody have their opinion. They said, Dustin, what do you think about the report? He said, man, I got that in my email. It was way too long, man. I ain't reading that. But Miranda did read it all for everybody. And,
essentially what the USGA is saying is they've discovered a threefold.